Rabbi Say Chodesh Tov Mevarach this evening, Be'ez Hashem Yisborach, is Rosh Chodesh Sivan. We are on our way to Matan Torah. We're getting there. And this evening, Be'ez Hashem Yisborach, we arrive at the Midah of Tefaረት Shebemlchut, one of the rare Midos, as we pointed out during Sfira Somer, that is in the middle of the road. And that is a considerable piece of the Avodah of Tefaret Shebemlchut. We spoke yesterday about Malchus being the world of either reality or of Sheker. That the world of Malchus is the place that a person experiences Osher, wealth and kavod, honor. But to a very significant extent, the avodah of Tefaret Shebemlchut, the beauty that is within Malchus, the splendor that is within Malchus, the harmony that is within Malchus, is a decision that a person needs to make. And Rabbi Nachman speaks about this at the beginning of Teravav, in the first chelik of Likutei Moharan. Says Rabbi Nachman, that a person needs to diminish their own kavod and to be marbe in kvod shemayim. And he goes on to explain that a person that chases after kavod is not zeicha to kvod elokim. A person doesn't have any kvod elokim. They don't bring kavod shemayim by chasing after their own kavod. And then he explains, and somebody that runs away from kavod, somebody that is mamayit their own kavod and is marbe kvod shemayim, about them the pasuk says, Kvod Elokim haster davar, that the honor of Hashem is in that which is hidden, meaning a person that is running away from kavod, they're zeicha to Kvod Elokim, which is, at least on a simple level, a pshat within what Chazal tell us in Prikavos, that a person that chases kavod runs away from them, and a person that runs away from kavod, so kavod chases them. Rav Nachman gives the mechanics of that Mishnah. That a person that chases after kavod is effectively chasing HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of the world. Because kavod in this world belongs to Hashem. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that Osher and kavod belong to Hashem. And a person that uses kavod in order to make themselves into some kind of pomp and circumstance, so that is the opposite of Tefaret Shebemlchut. It means using Tiferet, doing something beautiful in order to be mispired, to be I'm the Melech. I'm so spitz. I'm so important. And that person is effectively chasing HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of the world. Everybody can imagine the reality of a Talmid Chacham, a Rav, a person that, we spoke about this a little bit last time in the Chabura, that doesn't have good midos. Talmid Chacham that acts with gaiva and that acts with disregard and disrespect, a person that looks down on other people. The more that they're a Talmid Chacham, the more Chilul Hashem it is. Meaning that the Torah doesn't help, it makes it worse. Tefaret Shebemlchut means utilizing Tiferet's Torah, beauty, growth, midos, in order to be marbe kvod shemayim. That all of that, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us the ability to be well-balanced, successful people in the world, all of that is in order to be marbe kvod shemayim. And the Rambam writes in Hilchos Deos, Tzavach Chachamim Harishonim Sheyehei Adam Sam Deotav Tamid Umeshar Osam, that a person should be cognizant of their Deos. The Rambam doesn't refer to them as Midos, he refers to them as Deos. The Rambam Midos, the emotional composition of one's makeup, is ultimately developed from the way that we think. Says the Rambam that a person should have their deos, the way that they think about the world, always under scrutiny, mishar osam, umechavin osam, and to direct them, b'derech ha'em tza'is, in the middle road, kedei sheyeh shalom b'gufay, so that a person should be whole in their body. Ketzad, how? Lo yeh bal person shouldn't be a person that is hot-headed and easy to get angry. And you shouldn't be a person that is like dead to the world, doesn't feel anything. Meaning a person needs to not get overwhelmed, not overly emote, and yet not be a person that is dead in their emotional world. It says, Ela Beinoni. A person needs to be middle of the road. How do you figure out how to be middle? It's very, very difficult. This requires constant figuring out all the time. I don't want to overreact, but I don't want to underreact. There's no mitzvah to underreact. There's no mitzvah to overreact. It says, Lo yichais, a person shouldn't get angry. Ela al davar gadol shirah lichais alav. Except for something that's very important, that's worth getting upset about. Kedei shelo yaseh ki yotze bai pa'am acheres. So that thing that you're getting angry about doesn't happen again. It happens to be, and this is very true in the world of social media especially, but in the world bichlal, that we as human beings have two gears. This is what social media has trained us to do. Either total irreverence, we don't care about this at all, irrelevant, or 10 out of 10 emotional response. Those are the two gears. Either I don't care, or I care everything. There's no dial. It's like an on and an off switch. Which means, and you see this, that people have no idea how to measure their emotions in accordance with the situation that's happening. So somebody will get very, very angry, the angriest that they could possibly be, when somebody makes an anti-Semitic slur. And that's important, to get angry when somebody makes an anti-Semitic slur. But then, when Hamas Yamach Shemam is murdering and raping men, women, and children, so now you've already exhausted all of your anger. There's no more anger, that you are as angry as you can possibly be. So there's no measurement, there's no gauge, there's no dial, there's no Tefaረት. Tefaret means to be able to look at the world in the big picture and be able to say, I need to balance the way that I react to the world appropriately so that I can be marbek kavod shamayim as is necessary. Yeah.
So by Yaakov Avinu, he said the word that's associated with Yaakov is Tefaret.
Right.
So is the root of Tefaret then bitachon? Because they said that Yaakov is more associated with bitachon.
That's also true. But Tefaret is the midah of emes, the midah of rachamim, the midah of the very big picture. Bitachon also comes from that. Did you understand that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees the whole picture. Tefaret שבמלכות means that the way that we act, the way that we emote, the way that we react, the way that we interact, the way that we engage is with balance and with measure, because we're Avdei Hashem. Meaning, like a soldier in an army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't freak out at every sound, but he just back up, right? That's appropriate. A soldier doesn't start firing discriminately when he hears something in the distance, but he doesn't put his weapon down and go to sleep. A person needs to be well measured, well balanced, in order to be marbek kavod shamayim, in order to be an appropriate Eved Hashem. And that takes a lifetime of training, as we pointed out in the middle of Tefaret, is that you keep on going, more and more and more and more. And that's in the world of Ben Adam L'Makom, Ben Adam L'Atzmai. What about the world of Ben Adam L'Chavero? So in the world of Ben Adam L'Chavero, as we pointed out, the world of Tefaret is the world of Torah, and that means standing up for Torah, and educating Torah, and teaching Torah, and finding our truth in the world of Torah, without being ashamed of Torah. And this is something very important to point out, is that we live in a world today, in a Malchus that is not Malchus Shamayim, where when you want to say that something is the halacha, sometimes you have to couch it in politically correct terminology. You can't say this is also, this is mutter, this is kosher, this is treif, this is appropriate, this is inappropriate, because then people will get upset with you. Teferet שבמלכות means that you realize that the Torah is emes, and that in order to live in a world of Malchus Shamayim, you're happy to exclaim it and to explain it without reservation and without mincing your words. There's no mitzvah to make people feel bad. I want to be very clear. There's no mitzvah to make people feel bad for no reason. But if somebody is saying, the Torah is backwards and bigoted, no. The Torah is Hashem. And to stand up for what's true. be able to say, this is what we believe in. We're not ashamed to say that the Jewish people have a right to the land of Israel, to the whole land of Israel. We're not ashamed to say that. That's called Teferet, because we'd like to live in a world of Malchus Shamayim. We're not ashamed to say that the only reason that this war ever started and is continuing is because Mamzerim from Hamas, Yimach Shemam, haven't surrendered and given back the hostages. Teferet means saying that and owning it and being, and not to say, well, it's complicated and there's two sides. There's not two sides. There's emes. There's good and there's evil. That's called Teferet. Is to understand that there's Tov, there's Ra. And to do that in a balanced way, to do that in a measured way, but to do that in a way that's emistic. And all of that in the way that we communicate, the way that we interact, the way that we socialize, the way that we engage in the world, is all part of the avodah of Teferet Shabbat Malchus, to be continued tomorrow. Chodesh Tov.